iPhone 4, whoever you are, can you please identify yourself? iPhone 4, whoever you are, can you please identify yourself?
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
look,
Hi. I'm not getting the whole screen. Uh-oh. I
You can see you, Eva. We have a whole screen of you, Eva, I can tell you that.
I have a whole screen of you now, but half of everybody else is missing. I don't know. I pressed on something that came up of another kind of
in
uh,
your upper right corner, do you see a little thing that says view and
yeah,
like a
yeah.
square? If you click on that, you can change to the different kinds of views.
Yes, I know. Normally I can, but okay. Yeah. Uh I wasn't able to speak her. All right, all right. I don't know.
So
It's
would the person whose Zoom identification simply says iPhone 4, please rename yourself so you can stay in the meeting?
The start of the meeting.
Ellie? She must have just sent you stuff. That's pretty ironic. I never said anything to her.
Shelby, your mic is on.
Thank you.
So maybe one of the admins that can send a message to iPhone 4.
Right.
I don't think they're getting the memo.
iPhone 4, if you don't identify yourself, you will be removed.
Maybe that's their name.
Hey guys, hey everyone, how you doing? Good evening.
Is that the man who won't have to won't have to cross a picket line now?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's what we do. That's what we do. A lot of work, but got done. Well, no, you know what? I got to thank Josh Shapiro, man. He's a really awesome dude. He's a man of his word, man. You know.
Big stuff happened. That's him.
Yeah, Josh is the man. I mean, he gets shit done because we were closed. Well, they were
Yep.
closed. They were closed on Friday. I've been in meetings since
I'm gonna
Friday.
give it until 7:35 and then we're gonna start.
Oh yeah.
People who get on early should not suffer. Terry, do you mind doing the Pledge of Allegiance? Is that okay? When it's ready,
Yeah, I'll
is
do
that
it.
okay?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
That dog might get you in the back.
I gotta, I
No,
gotta figure out how to change it.
Zionism is tomorrow, along with maternity.
Yeah, and I talked about this back and I had Jessica. What's that?
David, your mic
Well,
is
I've
on.
heard this conversation with Jessica. I love Jessica. Jessica loves you. Your mom was, she wouldn't know this, but she was.
Remember, a number of people's mics are on, so the rest of us can hear you. So everybody should be careful about that.
I'll mute all after the pledge.
Okay.
Somebody should mute off.
Sandra, that's an impressive stack of books. It's an impressive stack of books behind you.
Narberth Bookshop.
So let's get iPhone 4. If you can identify yourself, please.
I cannot find this thing. Let's see.
Hit the old eject.
I don't think iPhone 4 realizes he or her name is iPhone 4.
Mark cuts that person off in another minute or two. That person will know. We'll get the hint, hopefully. Okay. My computer shows at 7:31. I'm giving 4 more minutes and then we're going to start.
Can't find any of the controls in this thing.
Ah.
And Lifeguards invite you to go down the rabbit hole with Momix December 12th through 14th.
With Bill 94. Do we know who iPhone Bill 94 is? Hello?
Apparently that's me, Bill Leopold.
Okay.
No, I'm up here. I have the fan on.
All right, 2 minutes, we're going to start. One minute.
Rebecca Gart.
Oh, hi, Becky. How you doing, honey? One minute. Okay. Mark, why don't you go first?
What did you want me to say? Just that we're gonna
That everybody should identify themselves.
yeah, everyone
and-
is basically identified except who was it?
iPhone 4.
They're gone. Essential experience.
I think that's Eric Hoffman. Isn't that? Eric, isn't that you?
Yeah, he just renamed. So I think we're good to go. Everyone needs to be identified in order to participate and sit in tonight. And
Okay.
Other than that, everyone will be muted and I'll do my best to unmute as necessary.
Okay. All right. First of all, first thing I want to say is I want to say thank you to Mark, without whom this meeting could not happen. And I can't tell you how grateful I am for your efforts in that regard. On that note, Terry, can you do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Rob,
please?
can you lift your screen so we can see your whole face? Thank you.
Okay. Eva, you haven't seen it enough over the years. Terry, can you do the pledge?
Sure. I'm ready. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Is Gigi on?
I didn't see her.
Okay.
I saw her.
All right. Dana, would you please move to approve the agenda?
Yeah, I just got muted, but yes, I moved to
Yeah,
approve the
everyone-
agenda.
Yeah, Robert, you'll need to unmute now.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
First order of business is to first of all say thanks to Amy for taking the minutes of the last meeting. And can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I motion.
Second,
Kathleen Wilkinson.
Second.
all in favor?
Hi.
All right. Thank you for that. Curry, are you on? Curry Halpern, okay, well.
Yeah, she's in.
She's in. Okay, Curry, can you give us a treasurer's report?
Hang on, hang on one second. She should be able to unmute now.
Yes, thank you. I can give the treasurer report. At this time, we have $21,153 in the bank. I do have some checks that will be going out, but I expect that we'll have about 19,000 in the reserves after that.
That's great. Thank you again, Curry, for being a tremendous steward of our money. It's really a big help. On that point, just to segue, just so everybody puts it on their calendar, the date for the spring fundraiser will be April 26th. Zeke will be in touch with all of us later on with the details, but everybody should please put on their calendar and make sure that they appear. Adrian, it's your turn to talk about MCDC. Could you please unmute, or Mark, let her unmute?
And she should get a ping to unmute. There she goes. There she goes.
Yeah, I have an issue with us not being able to unmute ourselves, just to, put in points of order and things like that. I mean,
Put up your hand.
you did a beautiful job, getting a motion and second for the minutes, but you did not allow any discussion in there before the vote. So just as a little aside, that's all. Not that there was any, but
Okay,
just
got it. You got
proper
me, Adrian. Go
procedure.
ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hi, everyone. I have been working so hard on the bylaws and the drafts that have been part of MCDC's new draft bylaws. There is a lot there. What makes it a little even more difficult is the fact that when they put everything together, it was not in very good order. They had crossouts and everything, and stuff was misnumbered, but we're getting it together slowly. I don't need to say that there was no vote on last Wednesday, but there was a lot of great discussion, and some of the highlights were, hold on, let me get that page up. Oh, I only have like 64 things open here. Hold on a second. Here we go. So there's a lot. I have like 7 pages of lists, and I am not going to put those on you. So some of the bad things, I'll start with them, and then we'll go to the good things so we can end on the good note. Um, they were reducing the endorsement minimum to 55% down from 60. They're allowing Monco members of the state committee and state executive committee who rarely attend Monco executive committee meetings to vote at said meetings. And when they were, there's a couple things in there that say that people can be appointed. And I think the area committee, you guys should have a say in some of those appointments that pertain to the ad hoc committees, and that shouldn't just be appointed by the chair. One of the things that I feel is that the party structure should mimic, this is me, just my opinion, one of four. Only one of four in the party structure should mimic the structure of the government as the Constitution lays out. I think that the chair should be like the president, the cabinet, the officer should be like the cabinet advisory, and the executive committee should be like Congress. And we pass the chair's agendas and appointments if we agree. I think that it is really important that our committee acts in a more democratic way, because local committees work best when they remain independent from undue influence by individuals with political power. So if you want to hear more about my mottos here, you can email me or call me. If you're a committee person, you should have access to both of those things. I think that we need to step up and not just be the lesser of two evils. Monco can and should lead the way. After all, we're the key to the Keystone State. Some good things. References to male or female now include binary, and instead of he or she, they've used the pronoun they. So that's good. Members of the area executive and county committees now need to have actual physical residence, not just legal residence. And I'm going to ask Bob to catch on the things that I missed. The code of conduct and the composition of the mediation committee may not be part of the bylaws to make them easier to change. As we work with these new things, it might be easier to change them if they're not part of the bylaws. The ad hoc committee on endorsement threshold, which is, we're talking about that 55% now. It seems to me and many others that there is more consensus for codifying the current practice, which was also recommended by the Endorsement Review Committee, to keep it at 60%, but specify that in the event of more than two candidates where none reaches 60%, there's a second vote between the top two vote getters, which is how the rules have gone for the most part. And they're working on fixing how to get a proxy that we don't have to be running around all over the township to get a signature, that we can do it electronic or by email, and also that we can now officially vote electronically. So those were a couple of the things. And then I just said, everywhere it said an appointment, I added with an affirmative vote by the executive committee. So that's something I feel is really important. Bob, anything to add?
Yeah, Murray has his hand up.
Okay, Murray, anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to add a quick word. I think that Lower Merion and Narberth can be very proud of the fact that of the 25 or so people that were at this meeting, at least 4 or 5 of us, Nancy, Adrian, Sarah, Rob, were tremendously involved, and I think moved a number of the issues, including the important one of the 60 to 55% for the endorsement level. So we should know that this group, our group, was very well represented at that meeting.
Thank you.
One, it strikes me, Adrian, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it struck me that most of the people who spoke were in favor of keeping the 60% rule rather than lowering it to 55%, which surprised me, but it seemed to me that's the majority of the people who spoke anyway.
I didn't hear anybody who was for it.
The 55%, I didn't
Yes.
either. So that's an important thing to know. Second, if anybody is really interested in participating in this process with the county, December 15th is the deadline for submitting any comments, and they should be in touch with me or Adrian or Murray about getting a hold of a copy of the rules if they want to and comment on them. Another thing that was important to me is that they drew the difference between being a member of the county committee and being a member of the municipal and area committees. And we have a number of divisions where we have trouble filling the positions, and it will be clear that we can fill those divisions with people who do not live in those divisions and can be members of our committee, although not necessarily the county committee. And that was an interesting fact to me. With that, I'm going to, unless you have anything else.
A couple of hands up. David.
Oh, there's a handout. Go ahead.
And then Nancy.
Nancy.
Sorry, what?
David,
did you have your hand up? Did you have your hand up?
Isn't David going first?
Yeah.
Nancy, you can go first. I'll follow you.
Okay, I just would like to take a moment or two because we have a lot of very new committee people who I would think might not quite even get what you're talking about. I just want to go back just bear with me for a moment. About 3 years ago, I started a petition and asked for a review of our endorsement process, MCDC's endorsement process. Prior to that, the chair appointed a committee to recommend candidates, and I'm happy to be corrected. And we weren't really clear why he appointed the people he appointed. They interviewed people. We didn't really know what the interviews consisted of, and we really had no idea what their picks were based on. There was no rubric, or it was a very closed process. And I asked that an ad hoc committee be formed to just study it and make recommendations to the executive board. It took about 6 months to get that motion passed to have this ad hoc committee study it. They took 9 months, and every area had a representative on it.
I'm holding it up so that people can see what document you created, which was really very nice, very fine document.
So Mitchell Rothman was our representative to that committee. He's no longer a committee person. They took 9 months. They did a magnificent job. And then it took another 6 months of discussion at MCDC to negotiate what passed. So we got a very new process, and we had a committee to select row officers. Your representative on that is from our area is Shirley Howe. And then our representative on the Judicial Selection Committee is, help me who, somebody, Danielle.
Dan Phillips.
Yes, yeah, sorry. And it's a much, much more democratic process. They have a rubric, they make recommendations. It's very much better. But anyway, the point is, all these new recommendations did not really match the bylaws. So they were working on the bylaws anyway, and the bylaw committee had to take all these endorsement recommendations and other recommendations and get them in the bylaws so that we could actually use them. So it's been a big success. It's been a big 3-year process. But, you know, if you have any questions, you can ask Murray or anyone who's been on executive. But it's really been pretty transformative. And I am not clear that all the committee people understand how important it's been and how much more you now have a voice in who we elect.
Also important to note that there's a code of conduct in that endorsement procedure, which is a very big deal. And we should all be proud of that.
Yes, I'm sorry. And a whole process for mediation and investigations. And it's much clearer what is and isn't allowed. We ask candidates to run positive campaigns, etc. If you want more information, ask anyone on exec.
David, I think, is next.
Thank you. Having been on this committee back when 55% was enough for an endorsement, and remembering the strong momentum for a change, especially for committee people, when something's so close, and we may have to support someone who is not our favorite, when it's done by a slim majority of really only maybe 10% at most, it's a problem, which is why the number was increased to 60%. And with that, I would suggest, and I'd like to move that our committee as a whole make a recommendation to MCDC to keep the number at 60% for a county endorsement.
I don't think it works that way, but you could probably ask all of us that are on executive to make sure we vote that way. And I commit to voting that way.
But more than that, I think I think that we as committee, especially if they're taking comments, as one of the biggest areas, can say that the consensus of our committee, our area, is that it be kept at 60%, which would be my motion. And hopefully that would carry some weight at the county when this is dealt with.
To David's motion.
I'll second
that.
All right. Any further discussion, or have we basically discussed this issue enough? Because I would like to have a vote.
Well, I'd like to add to the motion a friendly amendment that where there are more than two candidates, that there be a second runoff, which would allow the 60%. It's not, if you have 5 candidates, it's unlikely that you would get 60. And there was a lot of sentiment for that at our meeting.
I think that's right. I think Murray's right that seemed to be the consensus of the meeting, but I think it would be helpful if that's our vote, that we communicate that to the committee, which I will be happy to do after this meeting. So can I have a vote on that subject? Can someone call the question? Okay. All in favor? All right. Anybody opposed? So moved. All right. Thank you, Adrian. That was great.
Okay.
Sarah.
I
sorry,
did
Adrian.
have
Go ahead. I thought you were done.
one other point. One of the things that the bylaws did say was that any member of the committee had to be have their legal residence, not just their legal residence, but their actual physical residence in the area where they are representing.
It's to be the county committeeman, not an area.
Well,
committee.
we are the county committee. That's
No.
the county committee includes all committee people.
Well,
So
okay. You and I
that's
don't agree on that, on how we interpret that section. So that,
but
we'll leave it at that.
that's what they
for the
said. The
moment.
county committee is all the
A county, a county committee person is a person elected from the division who lives in that division. An area committee person or a municipal committee person does not have to live in their division. But that's what it says, but
No, it
we'll argue
doesn't.
about it. We'll argue about it another time. Okay, Sarah.
Okay. I'm gonna try to go as fast as I can. Buckle up, lots to give you. Um, and I promise you I will send an email with lots of information. Okay, so let me start by saying thank you to everyone for working so hard in the general. Together we knocked over 8,000 doors, which is about double from 2 years ago. We made a few thousand phone calls. We sent additionally thousands and thousands of texts, can't even give you a full number at this point, and sent about 14,000 postcards. So I want to congratulate. We have a few of our candidates. Some of them have already been sworn in because our school board gets sworn in November or in December. And we have some other candidates who will be sworn in to be a commissioner. Congratulations. We're very proud of you. Some data from the general. Mail-in ballots, 88% turn-in on the Dem side, which is massive. Almost all precincts were above 80%. Area turnout of the Dems was at 64%. 2021, it was 53%, which is an 11% increase. Massive, everyone. And it really reminds us knocking those doors, all this work pays off. We were asked by state committee to turn out at least 50 additional Democratic voters per precinct. The average in Lower Merion was 136 additional voters per precinct. So total, we had been asked to bring in an additional 2,300 Dem voters total. And we brought in an additional 6,294 voters. So 3,994 additional to the 2,300 that we were asked. That's massive. You guys worked really hard. All of our judges statewide, be it retention or election, won by 80% or higher of the total area vote. So that we rocked. Lots of talk about how the Republican school board candidates got a ton more votes, but according to the actual data, the average increase was only 1% more of the vote from 4 years ago for the average of those four candidates. Many of the precincts we were concerned about, our candidates actually overperformed. So again, good job, everybody. Now on to the next cycle. My subcommittee is all ready. We've already had meetings. We were just on planning an event tonight. You'll be getting a committee person survey with my written update from tonight. Please make every point in filling it out. Like when you get the email, do it. Don't like put it off to the side and say, I'll do that. I'll make it as quick and painless as possible. But it's really important information so that my subcommittee and I can make sure that we have all the information that we need for going forward. Like I said, we're hard at work. And I will also include in that link or in that email that you're all going to get the link to reserve the event room at the office. So if you want to do a precinct level or a ward level event, you will have that link to sign up. And I will make every effort that I can to fill that. But we will have to, like, if we're having events or we don't have somebody to staff the office, we'll work with you. Also, please, please, please drop off a stack of your committee person business cards at the office or on my porch in the bucket. These, if you've been in the office, Carrie got us big holders for all of the cards, so that when somebody comes in and they want to get more info about their committee person or get in touch and get more involved, they can then grab their business card and be in touch with their committee people. So please either drop it off at the office when we're open or on my porch in the bucket. Timeline and lots of supports coming your way. December 16th, which is a week from today, is Democracy on Tap Holiday Edition. It'll kind of be a soft rollout of this next cycle. We're going to have lots of candidates, potential candidates coming and joining us. January 5th, we are doing a hybrid vote builder training for committee people. I will also be adding some activist codes for things like poll helpers, yard signs, postcards into vote builder. So I'll go over that in the training, but if you already took the training, I will be doing that this week. Let me know if you have any requests for activist codes, like something that you keep, that you always want to know, so that you can run a list and find out all of the people who want to put up a yard sign, those kinds of things. Additionally, I will also send out for everyone kind of the code to what all the letters mean in voter history, so that you understand, like, what does MP mean or MY or something like that. Like, there's little letters, and I'll be sending out the code so you all can understand what that says. January 11th, we are having speed dating with candidates. This is a community engagement event. We have the commitment, I believe, of all the 148 candidates already, and I'm getting in touch tonight with the rest of the candidates. So please join us, tell your constituents to join us, so that we can get to know these candidates. January 20th is Democracy on Tap. It'll be another opportunity before the endorsement to meet these candidates. January 29th, we're going to have a new event called Conversation Cafe, and more information will be coming out about that. The end of January, early February, we are going to be—
Describe what that is, because people know what Democracy on Tap is, but they may not know what that
I
is.
will be sending all that out in the email that I'm sending out. Additionally, end of January, early February, we will be doing a committee person petition training. We will also be looking for a virtual one that has been recorded. So if you can't make it, you can just watch it, so that we make sure that everybody does their petitions right. And they're slightly different, not incredibly different for committee people. So we want to make sure you have all of that. February 3rd, put this on your calendar right now. Everybody, put it into your calendar. February 3rd will be our DCLMN District 148 Candidate Forum. It will be virtual, and we are very excited about this. February either 17th or the 19th will be Democracy on Tap Petition Edition. February 22nd will be the petition party. There will be two other petition events, one that will be with Bryn Mawr College students aimed at them. And then we are also going to do a banned book story hour petition edition. March 1st and 8th, those are Sundays, we will do petition collection and lookovers at the office. March 17th will be another Democracy on Tap, and we can all be like, whew, we're on the everything's done, petitions, we're good, like, let's go forward. April, we will be doing an Earth Day community engagement event. There will be Democracy on Tap, Conversation Cafe, and it'll be lots of stuff to get to know the candidates who are now on the ballot. Convention date for MCDC. That is coming. I did check with Jason Salas. We should know soon. Which means that I will also then be able to give you the Democracy on Tap petition edition date soon. I'm once again on the planning / running committee for MCDC. So if you have any thoughts or ideas, send them to me, because people sent me a few ideas last time and we got 1 or 2 of them through. So let's keep thinking big, right? And for the info you actually all came to this meeting for, and you're all been waiting this whole time for me to announce. The Office Donkey's official name is Freedom. So thank you to the community members who at the Dickens Festival put the names in the box that we got to vote on, and to all the committee people who took the time to vote. It was very exciting to see those votes roll in. And Jess Taylor is going to be making a beautiful sign that announces to everybody on our window, Freedom Donkey. So if there is any questions, I think I got through everything. Committee people, any questions? David Breda. Mark, can you unmute him?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, first, congratulations, Sarah. You've done a great job, and we all appreciate what you've done for us in the last many months. I'd just like to mention, in my precinct, 11-2, which includes Bryn Mawr College, we had a lot of Bryn Mawr College students vote, and they almost all completely voted for the Democratic School Board and other candidates. So all I can suggest is for Haverford College and any other colleges in our district, getting those students to register builds Democratic votes.
That, and I'm sure Phyllis will speak about that during her time, but it's also why we are doing a specific petition event, because we want to get them invested from minute 1, so that they want to show up and they're excited about the candidates. Adrian.
Yes, you rattled off a ton of dates that, of course, I couldn't keep
You're
up
gonna
with.
get it in an email, promise.
Can it go on to the? Can it actually go on to the DCLMN calendar?
It will all be inputted, I promise.
Or I
Jason
can do
Scott.
that for you once I get the
Jason
list.
Scott's got it. We have to do it in a thoughtful way. We want to have that mobilize link ready. We need the art. So Jess Taylor's been working on art for us. So once we do that, Jason Scott will get as much up. We try to only though put about a month out information, because otherwise people will sign up and then they never show because they forgot about it, even though we send alerts. So usually about 5 weeks is the max time out, but we will have everything up and I will send all those dates to everybody. Nancy, question.
Yeah, I want to say something, but if somebody else is going to talk about it, just cut me off right now. I know it wasn't, we did amazing here, and I do think Sarah was an amazing leader to organize all this. But I do want everyone to know that it was an amazing result, countrywide, countywide, Pennsylvania-wide. The newscasters really emphasized the Virginia election, New Jersey, etc. And of course, our Supreme Court was fabulous. But I just like Montco, Western Montco, the reddest areas flipped, Limerick flipped, Trapp flipped, Satterton flipped, in Bucks, Ben Salem flipped, Clifton Heights, a Democratic mayor in Delco was elected. This was deep everywhere, and it should really make us feel, not take anything for granted, but feel much more optimistic for the next election. My lips to God's ears.
And it was a great day to be a Pennsylvania Democrat. I kept telling everybody, gosh, it feels good today to be a Pennsylvania Democrat. So we really did see there were central Pennsylvania, they won seats, counties that had never gotten people on. Their supervisor commissioners board found people won, school boards. It was a great day for Pennsylvania Democrats, and we're going to take that energy forward with us to the next and keep organizing really carefully and keep engaging with the community, and really like having that engagement so people stay engaged. If there's no other questions, I'll hand it back to Robert Paul. Okay.
Next time, I just want to remind everyone that as committee people, we are elected to 4-year terms, and those 4-year terms begin in the primary, and so the petitions start in February. And as I've said in the announcement of this meeting, but I just want to remind everyone that please let me know if you're planning to run again or if you're planning not to run again, because if you're not going to run again, we'll have to find somebody, and the more time we have to do that, the better. And if you are going to run again, thank you very much. And Sarah will make sure that you get on the ballot. With that, is Sean Kramer on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Sean is next. She's going to talk about, I had put down Daniela, but we're going to be even more honored. We're going to have Sean talk about what's going on at the Township Commission level.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Just some highlights from the year in no particular order. Township employees are now entitled to 12 weeks of paid parental leave beginning January 1st. Hooray. Oakwell is now officially the property of the Natural Lands Trust and will be protected forevermore. Thanks to the LMPD, we have school bus cameras now, so don't pass your school buses when they have their stop sign out or you'll get a ticket. And we're also piloting red light cameras, and if those are successful, we're going to be using them even more in the township. Hot topic, gas-powered leaf blowers. We are phasing them out for use in the township on all properties over the next few years. Next year, you won't be able to use gas-powered leaf blowers between June 1st and October 1st. And then 27 and 28, there's more gradual phasing out. January of 29, that'll be the end of gas-powered leaf blowers being used in the township. Housing affordability is a big priority for the township government, so we commissioned a housing action plan, and you can hear the details of it tomorrow night in our township Board of Commissioners meeting or see the plan online. The big takeaway is encouraging naturally occurring affordable housing by allowing gentle density, things like backyard cottages out of people's, made out of people's garages, converting, a single family home into a duplex or a triplex in some zones. And Gilda and I can tell you more if you want to know more about it, but we're very excited to implement some of those changes. Now for the bad news, revenues are a little bit down and costs, as we all know, are up. So our taxes going to go up probably by about, well, let me just say for our 10% of your tax bill that goes to the township, that 10% is probably going to go up by about 9.5%. So in other words, for a family, for a home of an average value in the township, which is about $1 million market value, your tax bill will go up about $122 for the year. The county's going to increase theirs a little bit, and the school district next year will be probably increasing theirs a little bit too. And next, I have a little request for all of you. We have a Code Blue shelter here in Lower Merion. We house up to 5 men on the very cold nights of the winter. in churches in the Bryn Mawr and Ardmore areas. And we need volunteers. So it's very easy and very nice, and the men are lovely, and it's a very rewarding experience. It's very safe. We have the support of the police department and county mental health teams, and it's been a really positive experience over the last couple of years. So if you are a night owl or you're willing to forego a few hours of sleep for a good cause, we'd love your help. And you can email me, or you can email codebluelm@gmail to find out more information about volunteering. And the Code Blue is extended to next week now because it's been so cold. So we could use all hands that we can get. And that's about it. Thanks, Rob.
Sean, first of all, for coming and sharing this with us. Anybody want to ask Sean any questions? Okay, I'm surprised, but okay. All right. The next item of business is just to announce that we're going to have at the January meeting, there will be 2 elections. One is for the Eastern Ward's vice chair, and the other is for area representative to MCDC.
Sorry, Rob, really quickly. Sorry, if Sean is still on, I did just want to say, and I was muted, I did just want to thank Sean for her service, Marion. Sean not only has been our commissioner for a long time, but recently had stepped up to be our vice president, and her leadership has just been so appreciative, and I think we're very lucky to have her. Unfortunately, she will not be continuing. We do have a great commissioner, Craig, who will be taking her place, but I just think it's important for us to take a moment and honor and thank all of the time and efforts that she's put in to our township. So we will miss your leadership. We hope to see you here more. We have lots of ideas for ways that we can work together to be liaising between us and the township. And just want to say thank you for coming tonight, giving us this important update, and for all of the hard work that you have put in. It is essentially a volunteer position, but even more than full time. So thank you. We really can't thank you enough. So we appreciate you.
Right. Let's have a round of applause. Okay. Thanks, Danielle. Okay, as I was saying, we will have an election in January for those 2 positions. My plan is to have nominations from the floor, a nomination in a second, 1 speech by each of any candidates that want to be put forward. Sarah will organize the vote electronically for anybody who votes by Zoom. Each candidate, as we did in the last 2 elections, will get a teller to watch the count, and we will not publish the numbers. Does anybody have any questions on those 2 elections before we go on to the next item?
Robert Paul, everybody will be voting for electronically. No, electronically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, even though we're having a live meeting. Okay. I'll leave that to you. That's the electronic side that you and Mark do that I don't know how to do. Okay. The next issue is the issue.
Hang on, Robert. We have some hands raised.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Adrian, and then
Adrian
John.
first. Adrian first. Go ahead.
Yes, I want everyone to realize that any of you that are actually Democrats in Lower Merion or Narberth can run for any of these positions. Please consider it. You have the chair of 1/3 of the township and also a rep to MCDC. And also just really think about your candidacy for committee people next year. Well, no, yeah.
Only committee people can vote for these positions.
Right.
We're clear. Okay. Adrian, are you done? I'm not trying to cut you off.
No,
Okay.
that's fine. I'm fine.
Who's next?
Jonathan.
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
to clarify Adrian's point, to run for the Eastern Ward's vice chair, even if you're not on the committee, you still must live in the Eastern Wards. For area rep, you can live anywhere in the township. My other point is to Rob. Will you be setting up a runoff procedure if there are two or possibly three candidates for these positions?
Since our rules are clearly 60% at the moment, I think the answer is
Not for this election. It's 50 plus
50%, 50 plus one, right? Well, if nobody gets 50 plus one, we're going to have a runoff.
Okay, so I mean, we'll just have to have a clearly defined path for that at the outset of the election. So
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
I just wanted to, basically, my concern was just to give everybody plenty of time if they wanted to put their names up for office and to know how we're planning to run the election next month. Okay, any other questions?
Zandra.
Yeah, I had a question about that, and maybe you just addressed it, but when you mention taking nominations from the floor, I just want to get clarification on the process for us to know before the night that we're voting who is stepping forward to run, so we have a chance to talk to people. Will that be part of the process?
Wow. Well, I guess anybody who contacts me and says they want to be nominated or they're running, I guess I can send that out to everybody. But I really hadn't thought about it, frankly.
It seems
just put it up for the rule simply says when there's a vacancy in the position, it shall be filled by a majority of the committee. And that's all the rules say. So I really hadn't thought about anything other than people show up on, in January, put their name up, or have somebody put their name up, somebody seconds, and then we have a discussion, and then there's a vote. Anybody who wants to run, it's really the candidate's job to be in touch with everybody about them and themselves and saying, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. But if anybody wants me to circulate any names, I guess I could circulate names, but it seems to me it's up to the candidates to do that.
I was just asking for a clarification. Thank you.
I mean, I would say, in thinking about it, my guess is it's up to the candidates. Anybody else? I just want to make sure that everybody had plenty of notice of the election to put their name up. Okay.
So can whoever just came in as whiteboard, can you identify yourself?
Yeah, that's me. Sorry, it's Charlie. I need to change my.
Okay.
I need to change my.
Okay,
you can stay.
I just need to figure out how to
Charlie?
change my note. My.
You change your name on the screen,
Yeah.
right? Okay. The next issue is the magistrate 3817. Some of you may know about this, some of you may not know about this, but Sam Quinn is resigning as of January 4th from his position as the magistrate judge for his district, which is Narberth, wards 4-1 to 5-3, 8-2, 10-1 and 2, and 11-1. Under the law, the governor appoints someone to fill that vacancy with the consent of a majority of the state Senate in Harrisburg. It's not clear to me that we have any role in that. In fact, I think we probably don't. It's entirely up to the governor. But I have heard from some candidates who are interested in speaking to us about that office because we can't fill it. It isn't because magistrates are elected in the odd numbered years. And of course, the odd number year is 2025. The next time there's a potential to to run for that office would be in 2027. So the governor would appoint someone if the governor wants to, and if he can get a majority of the Senate to vote for it, to serve the remainder of the portion of the term through 2027, when there would be a special election to fill the remainder of that term. We have two candidates who have come forward, Doug Rosenblum and our very own Kathleen Wilkinson, and both of whom asked if they could have the chance to speak to us. And I've said yes. And so, Doug, it's up to you. So can you
one sec?
Can you unmute Doug?
Yes,
You on?
I was just waiting for the signal. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Okay, take a couple minutes and just introduce yourself to our members and talk about yourself for a couple minutes, if you will.
I appreciate that, and thank you so much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to see some familiar and friendly faces on the screen, and just want to take a few minutes to introduce myself. I did provide some information to Rob in an email, and I don't know if that's been circulated or not, but I grew up here in Lower Merion, going all the way back to elementary school at Merion, Ballykinwood Middle School, Lower Merion High School, class of '96. I graduated from Villanova undergrad in 2000 and Villanova Law School in '03. I have served as an assistant district attorney here in Montgomery County. I also served as a special assistant United States attorney for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania prior to my current role, which is in private practice at a firm called Petrogallo, Gordon, Alfano, Bosick, and Responti. I know it's a mouthful. We just call it Petrogallo, although Mr. Responti's name is at the end, and he prefers that we say all 5 names. But I've been there for 17 and a half years. I live in Narberth, and really the reason that I wanted to, and I'd been thinking about running for a magisterial district judge position for some time, is that I think it would be sort of the perfect progression of my public service roles. Since I left the district attorney's office, which was a fantastic public service role, I have volunteered continuously since 2009 as a child advocate for Montgomery Child Advocacy Project. I hope many of you are familiar with that great organization. I volunteer my time as a pro bono attorney for juvenile victims of abuse and neglect, everywhere from newborns up through age 18. And I still have cases. I usually have at least 1 or 2 going at any given time. I also have recently joined as a member of the Civil Service Commission for Narberth. I was sworn in by Mayor Deutsch a few months back, and I'm happy to serve in that capacity at this time. So I really wanted to have an opportunity just to say hello, express my desire to fill this position. It was a little bit unexpected that I learned that Judge Quinn was stepping down when he is stepping down, but certainly I have been doing my own legwork and research to make sure it's the right fit, because I want to be clear that I can dedicate the time that is necessary to this role. I have spoken with other people who have held this position, both in Lower Merion and elsewhere, and I've had the good fortune to speak with others in the county and beyond about this role, including Senator Amanda Capoletti and Neil Makija and Jason Salas and others, because I want to make sure that I was, fully educated on what it would take, and I would appreciate the support of this group. If anyone has any questions, certainly I'm happy to make myself available and happy to serve in this role if I'm fortunate enough to fill Judge Quinn's spot.
Let me just ask one quick question that I think some people may not know, which is, would you describe what the duties of this job are?
Without a doubt. I appreciate it. And forgive me, I didn't know sort of the agenda of what you'd like me to share, but I'm happy to answer any questions. So there are 3 magisterial district judges in Lower Merion and Narberth. Well, one covers Narberth, but currently Judge Zucker is one of them. Judge Shireson is retiring at the end of this year, and Judge-elect McMahon will be filling his role. And of course, then there's Judge Quinn. Magisterial district judges handle both civil and criminal matters. On the criminal side, they handle preliminary hearings of all criminal cases. They set bail. They handle traffic citations. They handle other summary offenses. On the civil side, there's small claims with jurisdiction up to $12,000 in dispute, also landlord-tenant issues, among others. The dispositions in the magisterial district judges are appealable to the Court of Common Pleas. And certainly my view on this is that it's really the first and sometimes only contact that that people have with the court system. And I am confident that if they feel respected and heard in this venue, frankly, appeals to the Court of Common Pleas can be decreased. And I think it's really an integral part of the fabric of our community. I think that MDJs are frankly underappreciated. They handle a really large caseload. In Pennsylvania, it's a unique position because you can actually have non-lawyers serve as magisterial district judges. And in fact, there are some in the county. There's a unique provision in Pennsylvania that allows magisterial district judges to actually continue practicing law if in fact they are an attorney. My position on that is I am in private practice. I am in a position where I can reduce my caseload as low as I would need it in order to fulfill the role of magisterial district judge, and I would intend to make this my priority. I have, in fact, already spoken with some magisterial district judges who do practice law and simultaneously sit as MDJs, and they're able to do that very effectively. Rob, is that a good summary? I don't want to take too much time of the group.
Anybody else want to ask? Anybody else wants to ask a question or two before we listen to Kathleen? Okay.
Thank you.
Hearing none, I will now introduce someone who, to me, needs no introduction, and that is our very own Kathleen Wilkinson, who is, of course, a member of our committee and somebody I've been friends with for a long time. Kathleen.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here tonight and the opportunity that you've given to me to discuss this with the entire committee. I believe I'm very well qualified for this position. I have been a resident of Lower Merion Township since 1986, first living in Wynwood and now living in Haverford. I've raised 3 children here. I serve as a committee woman right now in 10-1, as you know. I previously served on the Ardwood Civic Association on their board, as well as served as their president when I lived in Wynwood. After I moved to Haverford, I served on their board and also became the president of the Haverford Civic Association. So I'm very familiar with the residents of Lower Merion. I advocated for safe playgrounds, especially when I lived in Wynwood, in South Ardmore Park, and in Haverford, we had similar issues with building of big projects and the automobile dealerships on Lancaster Avenue, etc. My earliest exposure to what a magisterial judge does was actually in law school when I was a student at Villanova University School of Law, which I graduated from. I served as a summer intern in the Delaware County District Attorney's Office, where I was assigned to appear and present cases in the magisterial courts of Delaware County, all around the entire county. They wouldn't allow student interns to do murder cases, but they allowed me to do all the other different types of cases that Doug just described that a magisterial court judge could encounter, including the prosecution of nonviolent crimes. I was allowed to do that. I also, at an early stage, as a law student, interned for a federal judge. And with that federal judge in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, I was able to write legal opinions that he would have to review and approve on all different types of cases, including criminal cases, habeas corpus cases, which were pro se cases filed by litigants that were in jail and they felt that they weren't being served properly. After I became an attorney, I was actually appointed by a federal judge to represent the court as a friend of the court in order to meet with a prisoner to explain that he would be released soon and how it might be in this outside world when he would be released. So I've always had a very interesting background that led me to think about this position when I first learned that it was open. Currently, I'm an attorney at Wilson Elser, where I have practiced law for over 30 years. I handle very complex litigation, including fraud, breach of fiduciary duties, professional malpractice, housing cases, discrimination, often which also have a criminal component to them or a parallel criminal case. And regarding my courtroom experience, in addition to handling trials over the years, I regularly handle numerous hearings, depositions, and I've also served as an arbitrator for the court, a judge pro tem, a special discovery master, and this is both in state and federal courts. I've also handled cases myself as an attorney in municipal court and magisterial courts. I've done extensive pro bono work, including much work for the bar associations in Pennsylvania. I served as a president of the Pennsylvania Bar Association from 2021 to 2022. My term started early due to the resignation of the then sitting president. So I had to immediately step into action. When this happened, I encouraged all our members to feel comfortable that we would move forward with civility and professionalism at all times. We held many programs during that year on diversity, equity, inclusion, the role of civility, and the rule of law. I've always spoken out on behalf of the Bar Association for the rule of law and equal justice for all, as well as advancing of a civics education to our citizens. In addition to the Pennsylvania Bar, I am now on the board of directors for the Montgomery Bar Association, and I attend all their meetings and most of their events. In fact, I'll be there in 2 days, celebrating the end of the year and the turn of the incoming new president. We will be celebrating him. I also want to mention that I also served as the president, also known as chancellor, of the Philadelphia Bar Association, which is a very large bar association as well. I created leadership programs, mentoring for young lawyers, mentoring for diverse attorneys, and we also encouraged the rule of law as well. And lastly, as I mentioned, I am a graduate of Villanova Law School. I'm very active in their Inn of Court, which is comprised of judges and lawyers. And in fact, I went to a celebration late this afternoon and came back on the train to be here on time for this, and met with a lot of my fellow friends and both judges and lawyers. I believe that I would be a good choice for this position because I'm not seeking it as a stepping stone. I feel that I'm well suited to handle a 2-year term on this due to this retirement of this particular judge. So with that, if anyone has any questions, please let me know. Thank you for letting me be here tonight.
Anybody have any questions they want to ask?
That's 1 sec. Okay.
No? Okay. Thank you both. Oh, go ahead, Nancy. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
That's right.
I'm a little, well, thank you so much, both of you, for stepping up and giving us all that information. But I just am not exactly clear. So maybe one of, or both of you or Rob could explain what's our part, now that we know this, what can we do to act on any of this? Do we reach out?
The only thing we can do, in my view, is, and I was going to save this for the January meeting for us to discuss what to do, is we could write to the governor and say, "Dear Governor Shapiro, we would like you to support either or both of these candidates or anybody else that we would have. But otherwise, we have no real technical role in this. It's up to him and the state Senate. But since these candidates wanted to come, I said, well, it certainly, would be of interest to all of us to meet them, and that's why I invited them to come. So my plan, Nancy, is to put it up to a vote in January what we want to do. Anybody else have any questions?
We have 2 questions. One is from Leo Solga, who is a guest, and one is from Murray.
I believe that Mr. Solga cannot ask any questions as he is not a member of the committee. Murray, of course, is entitled to ask questions because he is a member of our committee.
Okay.
I don't actually have a question. I thought it might be an approach to ask each of the two highly qualified, excellent candidates what they would like us to do, if anything, or what they envisioned that we might do.
Great question, Murray. Either of you, go ahead. They have to be they have to unmute.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Doug and Kathleen, what's your answer to Murray's question?
Murray, I don't know if we really know for sure, because I think that probably what's going to happen is that either the governor will want to appoint someone or may decide that perhaps he won't be able to get the approval of the legislative branch. So it's a difficult question for us to answer in a vacuum.
If I will just add, and I appreciate those sentiments of Kathleen. I think perhaps what could be done is, as Rob said, some sort of letter of support, however the committee decides. The other component might be to encourage state senators to act on filling the vacancy. That seems to be, I think, the linchpin here. Even if Governor Shapiro, decides that he has selected a candidate of his choice, it really does take confirmation, and that is, I think, part of the struggle, at least, and that's what I've learned based on my conversations so far, is to get the Senate to act.
So you're suggesting we write to the governor and we write to Senator Capoletti?
I believe that would be best, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? As Murray says, two overly qualified candidates in my humble opinion for this position. Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys. All right, let's move on to the next.
Rob,
Any more questions? I'm sorry, folks.
two people with their hands up.
Yeah, I can't see them. I can't see that. So go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm one of
That's
them.
why I wanted to make sure that I was not rushing over anybody. Go ahead, Phyllis.
I would just suggest that since the people who are here at the meeting now just heard that these two, potential candidates speak, and we're already having a discussion, that we just decide now what to do or not to do, rather than bring it all up again and recap it all again in January. And I was going to suggest basically what, which I had suggested in the executive meeting, that, we write to the governor and to our state senator, Amanda Capoletti, and say, these two candidates have come before us and we've heard them. And we strongly, hope that you will consider appointing one of these two, that you will, interview them and, consider appointing one of these to fill this temporary vacancy for magisterial district judge within Lower Merion. And I don't really know what else we could possibly do, but I suggest that we do that.
You have to do it in the form of a motion, Phyllis. If you're doing it in form of a motion.
I move what I just said.
Okay. Is there a second?
Hello.
Is there a second?
I thought we might have some discussion on Phyllis's motion.
We have to have a second in order to do that.
Oh, okay.
Is there a second?
It's like Eva.
I'm a little embarrassed to have the candidates
I think
here
Eva
while we're
is seconding
discussing
it.
it, but of course Kathleen has a right to be here. And if she has a right to be here, I guess Doug can't, out of fairness, we probably shouldn't kick him out. But if we need a second in order to have a discussion.
Yeah, you have many seconds.
Okay.
David's raising his hand. Eva raised his hand.
Okay, very good.
If you all just actually do the reaction to raise your hand, then I'll know to unmute you.
Okay. All
Okay,
right, so
so,
with a second, we can have a discussion. Who wants to go first?
well, I
Well,
had
my
my hand.
hand's been raised before
Mhm.
even.
Okay, well, I'll defer to Sarah. I'd like to be in the queue.
Um, and I was going to make my own comment, but I guess since this is up for discussion, I think that we are putting the horse before the cart before the horse. I think that strongly that Robert Paul, you should actually reach out to Senator Capoletti and even talk to her about how we would even advocate for somebody if we can even before we make any decisions and do a little fact finding before any decision is made. Because we don't know if they can do anything. So before we take any steps, we should do some fact finding.
What you mean about how to do it, whether we can have any influence
Yes.
in this regard?
Yes.
Okay. Who's next? Jonathan, I guess you're next.
Yeah, Sarah makes a good point, but I was going to say I disagree with moving forward on this tonight. I mean, Sam announced this like in the last week. It kind of filtered out. We know of two people who've stepped forward, and they're both highly qualified. I like them both a lot, but I think it would be a disservice to like take a vote on two people. We don't even know if there's a third or the fourth. So I'm not clear why we need to hastily make this decision tonight just to save some time in January. I think that's actually antithetical to what our approach should be.
Isn't
I
the
can't see my
position
screen here.
vacant in January? Is that
January
correct?
4th.
Well,
January
yeah,
4th.
and it could be vacant for 6 months for all we know. It's not like it has to be appointed the day he retires. Um, there are senior judges at the disposal of the courts that could fill in while a process is done to replace Sam.
I can't see any of the hands, so who's?
All right, so
I'm gonna let you
Bob
go.
Winkleman is next.
Thank you.
There you go.
So Jonathan's right. There's no process that goes with this. There's really we don't even have a role in this. So to say that we're just going to write a letter of support for the first two people who raised their hands doesn't seem to make any sense to me, no matter how qualified they are. So there's just no process for this, and we have no role in this. So thank you.
And Krishna?
Yeah, I would just like to call back to the fact that Robert had asked Doug to describe what a magisterial district judge does. And I think there are multiple committee people who have literally just learned what that is, what the role is and what they do. And so I think taking a vote on it would be very much premature.
So it was important to ask the question, but yes. Okay. Mark, who's next?
That's it for this round. No hands up.
All right. Is there anybody else wants to opine on the subject? Otherwise, we should call the question on the motion. Can I have a motion to call the question?
Hang on. Adrian has her hand up.
I move that we table
Oh,
this.
Adrian, you're calling the question?
No, I move that we table it.
Okay.
That's fine. We can table it. I can withdraw the motion. It's fine. I thought there was more of an urgency because the position was open in January, and I mistakenly expected that people would know what the magisterial district judge is. But I realize that there's a lot of assumptions about things like that here. So I'm happy to withdraw. And I guess I was thinking, I know we have no formal role, but that's why the motion was to just bring these people who have taken their time to present themselves to us, to pass that information along as just another point for consideration. It wasn't specifically to advocate for any one particular person. But I'm happy to withdraw the motion.
We'll talk about it in January. We'll have more information and we'll do that in January. Okay, the next issue on the agenda is the Legislative District 148. As everyone should know, but I'm making sure that everybody knows, the county convention will endorse a candidate. And those of us who live in the 148th will go to the county convention and vote for a candidate. There are three candidates who have announced, and I've asked, and all of whom asked to come, and I have said that they can come.
Robert, Paul,
yes,
3 people have announced.
that's what I said. 3.
You said 4. There's 3.
Well, okay. There are 3 who are formally announced, and there may be others. And we're not obviously going to do anything about it tonight, other than listen to candidates. So with that, I would ask Mark to unmute Jason. Jason first.
Thank you, Rob. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Great.
Can everybody else hear him? Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, DCLMN. It's me again. Many of you know me well and my spiel, so thank you for your attention. As you know, I go over a little bit more about me for those of you who I get to meet. But my name is Jason Landau Goodman. I'm a 4th generation Lower Merion resident and an environmental attorney, community organizer, and civil rights advocate. I'm asking for your support to be the next state representative for the 148th House District. We have such an amazing opportunity to talk about the next generation of leadership for our communities, for what it means to be Democrats who win. We know how treacherous and cruel some officials are right now, but we should also know we have advocates who are fiercely laying down every fiber of their being to save and protect lives. Everything I am comes from Lower Merion raising me right to know how to build power and create change to help people. You may know this story, but when I was just 19 years old, coming into myself as a young person in the LGBTQ community, I learned that we had no explicit legal protections outside of a handful of places like Philly and Pittsburgh. I realized 17 years ago that no one was coming to save us. And if we wanted change, I needed to put my head down and get to work. So without political training, I built a movement that ensured Lower Merion unanimously adopted the first non-discrimination ordinance of any township in the state. That was 15 years ago last night. Before marriage equality, that was seismic in Pennsylvania. From there, I saw how young LGBTQ Pennsylvanians had no voice in local and state government. So to build on more wins, I helped spearhead the creation of a statewide civil rights organization that I helmed for a decade as an executive director and remain on the board of. My local and state advocacy work has helped so many young people and their families, truly life-saving work town by town, and positively impacted millions of Pennsylvanians. Little did I know what I was starting when I was 19, that eventually I would be the Jewish kid spending years mostly in rural Pennsylvania, visiting every Pennsylvania county and growing up in the halls of our capital in Harrisburg, relentlessly fighting on the front lines for change. But that's the grit, the insistence, and persistence we need in our elected officials right now. To do the right thing, even if you have to lead in building it. In our seat, which is one of the deepest of blues, you can make the decision to empower someone to boldly lead in an innovative and proactive way. That's who I am and how I want to serve you as your state representative. Through being in the trenches of state government for over 15 years, I know the ins and outs of this job and what truly successful state reps can do with this platform. I have scores of legislative and policy wins by working directly with House members, senators, the governor's administration. I've written bills and amendments, testified before legislative committees, hosted numerous press conferences and rallies, and been right in the action of policy development in the Capitol. For one of the bills I wrote, the Pennsylvania Safe Schools Act, I secured over 100 co-sponsors in the House, which is nearly unheard of. I've been counted on as an advisor as part of Governor Shapiro's transition team and our Commissioners McKeesha and Winders County transition team. My work is centered on bringing people together and never giving up. I'm ready to hit the ground running on priorities that matter to you. especially on issues including affordability, particularly around healthcare, environmental protection, and infrastructure development, including SEPTA funding. We have got to get back to the basics in delivering for Americans, to show our neighbors that Democrats know how to lead in legislatures. The tide will turn for us when we start trusting those not afraid to stand up to the status quo and work with our partners to get things done. Alongside my civil rights advocacy, since I was in Ballackinwood Middle School, I knew I wanted to grow up to become an environmental attorney and fight for a world in which we can all live. Most recently, I was counsel for the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, working from the inside of a state agency to deliver for Pennsylvanians. To be an effective representative, we need someone with expertise in advocacy, close existing relationships with lawmakers, and the strength to lead. I know the process, I know the people, I know our communities. I look forward to working closely with you in the months and years ahead. But most of all, I want to sincerely thank you with all my heart for your trust and support. If you want to get to know me more, I am having an event tomorrow night in Narberth, supported by our former state rep, Lita Cohen, former state senator Connie Williams, and former governor Ed Rendell. Please reach out to me or my campaign manager, Lee Stafford, who's on the call, if you'd like to come by or if you have any questions. My email is jason@landaugoodman.com, and Lee's is Lee, Leigh, @landaugoodman.com. You can also visit my website, landaugoodman.com, for more information on me, my background, platform, and ways to get in touch and get involved. Thank you so much.
Sorry, but who's now? Who should I unmute?
Megan.
Hi, everyone.
Megan?
Good evening,
Go
and
ahead.
thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Megan Griffin Shelley, and I'm running for state representative because we need leaders in Harrisburg who have the energy, the empathy, and the experience to get the job done. My passion for public service goes back to my earliest years. My father's a psychologist, my mom's a retired social worker, and in school I learned a consistent message that I've kept with me to this day, and that is that of the dear neighbor. And whether you go to church or you worship in synagogue or you worship in some other way, the message of the dear neighbor really is universal, and that is to help everyone regardless of their background. And every day working in state legislative offices, including most recently as the Chief of Staff to State Rep Nancy Gens, I've lived out this value, and I've cut my teeth in the trenches directly, helping constituents navigate bureaucracy and red tape so that they could access the services that they needed. So I've connected constituents with benefits. I brought grant funding into our local municipalities, and I've planned community events to inform our residents in our district what services are available to them. And I just want to tell you about a couple of the wins that are really sweet. One December, we had an elderly woman call our office and say that she was about to run out of heating oil. And so we stayed late that night and we helped her obtain an emergency LIHEAP grant so that she could have a safe and a warm holiday. And that oil was literally delivered just in time to her. And then on another occasion, I helped a local leader of an American Legion obtain some grant funding so that they could rebuild their crumbling building and keep doing the good work that they do to help veterans. And you should have seen his face. I'll never forget when he came into our office personally to thank me, what that feeling was like. And so my time in state legislative offices, it has honed my empathy, and I believe that it does give me a critical leg up because I understand how government works and how legislation is made and coalitions are formed, and I know how to get stuff done. So if I am fortunate enough to be elected state rep, I want to focus on 3 key issues. And the first is to defend and expand our social safety nets. We should be doing all we can to make it easier for people to obtain their benefits and to keep them. And in the office, we hear from constituents who are worried about what will happen to their benefits. And personally, for me, years back when I was unemployed and kicked off of my parents' health care, I enrolled in Medicaid myself, and that was a lifeline to me during a difficult time. I'm sorry, my alarm went off. And then the second issue I want to focus on is accessibility and affordability of healthcare. Wherever I go, I hear how important that issue is to people. And back at home, I watched my father battle stage 4 throat cancer. And yeah, his Medicare did save his life. But he had all of these out-of-pocket expenses. And by the way, my dad is doing very good, so I'm happy about that. And another key aspect of healthcare that I want to focus on is reproductive healthcare. My partner Harry and I were thinking of getting married and having children, and so this issue is increasingly more personal to me. And we should never have to worry about what would happen if we don't have a Democratic governor or one seat House majority in the state House. The third issue I want to focus on is, strengthening our democratic institutions and our very right to cast a free and fair vote. We need to get dark money out of politics. We need to have better early voting procedures and have same-day voter registration, as well as make sure that we have transparent and fair redistricting processes. And so there is a lot of work to do. But we're actively working to put together a state-of-the-art campaign, whether it's fundraising, field, communications, and I'm really excited about that effort. I hope some of you in this Zoom tonight will consider joining our team. And lastly, I want to personally invite you to our campaign kickoff event that is taking place next week on Wednesday, December 17th in Bryn Mawr. And I really appreciate all of your time tonight. Thank you.
Thanks. Let Andrea unmute Andrea.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All
Go ahead,
right.
Andrea.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Mayor Deutsch here. Thanks so much for taking the time to listen to all the candidates, give the pitch as to why they think they'd be the best candidate for state rep for 148. We have a lot of talent here and a lot of solid possible options to represent us. As far as issues go, we may have some variations on where we'd like to put our priorities. I'd love to focus on healthcare, funding for public transit, and helping small businesses. But the reality is, none of us have worked as a state representative in Harrisburg, and we would all be the freshmen on the floor. What I can tell you is what I have done and why I understand the issues people face every day. I was a trial lawyer for 10 years, including a number of cases where I fought to protect my client's civil rights. In fact, I was on the Civil Rights Committee of the Bar Association for many, many years. After I practiced law, I opened my small business, Spots, the Place for Paws, and I've owned and run the shop for over 22 years. I understand what it's like to try and navigate the challenges of a small business in today's tough economy. One of those challenges involved was getting healthcare as a small business owner with a pre-existing condition. Many of you know that I'm a type 1 diabetic, have been for 57 years. That's when I got involved with my healthcare advocacy since 2010. I have repeatedly participated in the fight to get healthcare for as many people as possible because it's so vital and important. That fight has brought me to Washington to speak with legislators multiple times a year. It's led me to give testimony before the Senate Help Committee in the state in Pennsylvania. It's allowed me to work with advocacy groups in Pennsylvania, including FAN. Many of you know FAN. It's Pennsylvania Health Access Network. It's also led me to work often with Penny, the state healthcare marketplace for Pennsylvania. As many of you know, I've also had the privilege of serving in public office, and I believe I'm the only candidate who is running who's actually served in public office for a decade, both as borough council member and later as the mayor of Narberth. In that role, I've helped develop a police force that I'm quite proud of. My constituents are really happy with the service they get from the police force, and there's great morale in our police force. It's actually a unicorn, and I'm super proud of it. I've led the borough for the last 8 years, including through one of the toughest times, COVID, which was one of the toughest times in our history. It was a difficult time for our citizens, our staff, our small businesses, and through collaboration with council, Narberth did really well, and I'm super proud of the job we did here. I'm quite proud of my public service and the many things I've accomplished in the past, and I believe that these experiences would give me a deep understanding of how to be a great state representative on behalf of the people of the 148. Thank you. Also, finally, if you'd like to know a little bit more about me and my campaign, you can go to my website, AndreaForStateRep.com. Thanks so much, everyone.
The last couple items I want to talk about. The first issue is that the rules on the election of state committee have changed. 4 years ago, when Murray and Joe Foster were elected, there were 19 state committee members elected from Montgomery County. There will now be 20, but they will be elected by district. And the way that's going to work is that we will have 4.
You mean by congressional district?
No. State Senate district, by the 17th congressional state, congressional 17th state Senate district. There will be 4 people elected, 2 men and 2 women. What will happen is that Jason, our county chairman, has appointed a committee that consists of 15 area reps, obviously me being one, and 5 people nominated by him, one of whom is our very own Zeke Taylor. That committee of 20 will meet and make recommendations as to who should be picked in the various districts across the county that are to be elected. I don't know if Murray or Sarah want to say anything, but Murray, of course, is one that wants to run for re-election, and Sarah, I know, wants to run. So if either of you want to say anything on that subject, this would be a good time. Murray, do you want to say anything, or? Mark, you have to unmute Murray.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob. I feel privileged indeed to be an elected delegate to the state committee, and I hope to be sent back in May. For one thing, I want to be part of the effort that's going to bring back the Congress in 26 and bring back the presidency in 28. I won't speak very long, but I'll just mention that while I've been there as an elected delegate, I've chaired the resolutions committee, which for a number of years has made recommendations to the various legislative bodies, including state and federal, based on what the state committee votes on. I am presently serving as a member of the executive committee, and along with a lot of other men, I'm very active in the Women's Caucus, which is a very active and major component. Just as an example, at the June meeting, I was on the panel with Madeline Dean discussing President Trump's tariff policy. So we've heard from a lot of candidates, and I'll sign off now and hope that people will find it within themselves to support my going back. And thanks very much for giving me a minute. I think you said Sarah was going to speak next. I'm glad I'm not speaking after her, because I was very moved by her infectious enthusiasm earlier, and I hope she can bring some of that to the state committee. Thank you.
Mentioned three comments before Sarah speaks. One, of course, the two of you are not running, cannot possibly run against each other, because the way the seats will be chosen is 2 men and 2 women. Right. And under the rules, apparently, if 3 people, if a third man, for example, got more votes than the top woman, that third man would be kicked out and he would not be elected, and similar, and so on. And second, remember that, again, it's not a group that we as DCLMN choose, what will happen is there will be a recommendation from this committee of which Zeke and I are members, and that will go to the convention just as the 148th will. But I think Sarah should definitely take a couple minutes to talk about her candidacy for the state committee.
I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what this process is going to be and how it's going to work. But I have spent a lot of time getting to understand how our elections work, how to organize, because being a community organizer is different than being a campaign organizer or a political organizer. And I've spent a lot of time getting to know those different steps and looking at ways to make the processes that we use here in Lower Merion and Narberth more successful and increase on our success each cycle. And I've been really excited about all the volunteers and what they've brought and the ideas that they've brought to us. And I think the core is that community engagement. And I want to see the party doing more of that and really looking at each community and how they need to be organized versus a blanket, this is how it's going to be for the whole state. It doesn't matter if you're a rural county that is very red or a Lower Merion and Narberth that is very blue. You know, we have to approach these in very different ways in order to get the best turnout and the best election result. So I really want to start having those conversations at a higher level so that we can have more of those amazing November, we are so proud to be PA Dems, and bring that energy. You guys know I'm a workhorse. I have the time. My kids are getting older now. Mimi will be in high school by this point. So I have the time to bring that energy, not just to Lower Merion and Narberth and keep doing what I'm doing, but to expand on that. And I've gotten to know a number of state committee members from across the entire state, and quite a few of them have asked, would you think about running for state committee, because we need more energy and excitement and new ideas to come. And I am excited to hopefully get to do that.
Rob, could I just add that we have, as many of you know, a new chair of the state committee, Eugene DePasquale, who you can remember as having been Auditor General of the state, and he lost in a very tough election running for Attorney General of Pennsylvania. But the good thing is he's bringing a new enthusiasm. I spoke with him at some length at the last state committee meeting, and the one thing I was pushing for was more continuity. It doesn't do enough to simply have 3 or 4 meetings a year at 3 or 4 month intervals. And he is looking into a way to keep us involved throughout the year, not necessarily going to Harrisburg or going to Pittsburgh or having everyone come to Philadelphia, but of course through electronic and other means. So I'm quite hopeful that under his leadership, we're going to see a new upsurge. Thank you.
Sunday. So Mark, can you unmute David?
That Broida or Dormont?
David Dormont. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I just let people know that there's going to be a fundraiser in Bala Cynwyd on Sunday morning for Chrissy Houlihan. She's running for re-election. As many of you know, she's recently been under attack by President Trump, who's really threatened her life, and the threats to her office, the threats to their safety, and it's really important that we step up. She's really, with a military background, she's really taken a strong lead in pushing our military to really follow our Constitution and our democracy. Because of the security issues I'm not going to let anyone know what the address is per se in this call because this is a public call. But if you're interested in registering for the event, you can contact me. And the event's at 10 from 10 a.m. to 11:30 in Bala Cynwyd, so it's all local. It's being sponsored by DJOP and J Street and a number of other people. So we really welcome you to join us.
Murray's hand is up.
I just want to supplement David's discussion by making it clear that Chrissy was one of the 6 senators and congresspersons who made the tape stating that it is your duty as a member of the armed services not to follow an order which you know to be illegal. And in response to that, as David suggested, Trump called this treasonous, traitorous, and said that these people should be hanged. So it's certainly well worth working for her. She was one of the 4 women that we elected here, including Madeline Dean, a couple of terms back. Very excellent candidate.
Hand up, somebody else, or is that your hand, Mary?
That's it.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Mark?
That's it. No hands.
Okay. The next meeting will be January the 12th, which is a Monday. It will be at Narberth Borough Hall, unless something happens. But at the moment, that's my plan. Does anybody have any new business that they want to bring up? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Hang on.
Oh. Did somebody wanted to speak? I can't see anybody. Who wanted to speak? Oh, Adrian, you wanted to speak.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right. Yes, it is. All right. It just says candidates. No, I wanted to just emphasize that if you have any interest in the bylaws, I not only have the drafts, but I have with it some of the changes that not only I suggested, but other members of the committee, and I have that in a Google Doc. So if you are a member of the committee and would like to see that, you can write me at CRE80V@gmail, or my phone number is 610-308-9386. And if you're a committee member, you can find my email on our website and my phone number in street lists. Thank you, guys. I'm
So long,
happy to
everybody.
do this work for you.
Okay, anybody else have anything else? Because if not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Wait.
And
Thanks,
Mark.
Hang on. Christian's got his hand up.
Oh, Christian, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So earlier this year, I discussed talking about restarting Montgomery County Young Democrats. We're actually kind of getting that ball rolling now. So me, as well as a few other people, like I've been talking to Luke Mandel from Young Democrats, as well as Chris Thomas. We now have we have a sign up form. We have an Instagram page that doesn't currently have anything on it, but it's actually there now. And we have a Signal chat. And so I will just, let anybody know who, either is a Young Democrat and who lives in Montgomery County, or, knows a Young Democrat in Montgomery County who might be interested in joining. I will give this information to, I guess, Daniela, who can put it wherever.
It should be noted that the county is very interested in supporting the effort to have an active Young Democrats chapter. And one of the things that they're doing on the bylaws that Adrian and I were talking about is having 4 members of the Young Democrats actually serve on the executive committee in MCDC. Okay. Again, thanks, Mark. We couldn't have done this without you. And thanks, everybody, for staying
Wait,
until
one
the
sec.
end.
Dana's got his hand up.
Go ahead, Dana. Go ahead, Dana.
You should be able to unmute. G Sync, can you identify yourself, please?
I'm just going to motion to adjourn.
Oh, okay. That works for me.
Okay.
That works for me.
All right.
Hang on. Phyllis.
Oh, Phyllis wants to say something. Go
Phyllis
ahead,
should
Phyllis.
be able to unmute. Yeah.
I just wanted to make a brief statement about the voter registration
Oh,
subcommittee.
please. Yes, please.
Um,
Thank you.
we are in a period of, when voter registration is active, the deadline for registering to vote for an election is always 15 days prior to election day. So that puts us at May 5th this year. If anyone, I'll just put out a blanket statement and not take up time, but if anybody is interested in sharing ideas or helping to implement any voter registration programs, we do have an active subcommittee. So please, you're welcome to contact me, and I'll just add you to the list and to our meetings. My email is my name sort of backwards, rubenph@verizon.net, but in the summary email about this meeting, that will be included.
Thank you, Phyllis. We can't vote them if they're not registered. So it's very important. What you said is very important. Okay. Anybody else want to say anything? Going once? Going twice? Okay, we're done. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for sticking in till the end.